part of it. It's the easiest recruiting tool we have is our players. They love our head coach. He loves them. He's a player's coach. Now, does he coach them hard? Sure he does. But the thing about it is they know that he cares about them on and off the field. And, you know, having an opportunity to work with Jimbo has been great for me and really for just who he stands for.
We'll go in the center in the far back.
This question is for Jeremy. Jeremy, talk about your father as a high school coach up at Plainview High School and how you learned so much from him. And most importantly, now you have a son there at quarterback playing. Tell me about Plainview, your relationship with him and just growing up in North Sand Mountain around that area.
Well, you know, being a coach's son, you know, you're kind of drug around the field house all the time. I was never sent to a babysitter. I went with my dad. You know, he's lining off the fields. He's mowing the grass. I'm hanging around the field house. You know, and to me, looking back on this, it's the best time of my life. You know, having the opportunity to spend that time with him. You know, and Coach gave us 3 days off for Christmas break. The first thing I did is I took the tape home from Auburn, and I've got it plugged up in there, and me and him's watching Auburn. I'm seeing if there's anything that he can help us figure out a way to stop these guys. But yeah, it's really special to not only just to spend time with your father, but to share the same love, the same profession. And I mean, he still does it today. And I've said this many times before. He stays on me a little bit because now obviously he coaches my son. But, you know, he says I'm the worst parent he's ever had. But, you know, it's really special times being with him.
We'll go to the left on the aisle.
Coach, this is just the second time that we've been able to talk to you. The players themselves, like you made changes, like the Christian Jones from linebacker to kind of more of a defensive end role. Since you're new, you know, how are the players responding? And I've heard certain players say, you know, wow, the playbook's kind of complicated. We're finally getting it. How do you make sure that you took time to talk to them? Like, who is the guy that we don't see, you know, in a practice, how the players are responding and the players can respond too? Because we're trying to get to know more about who you are.
Well, the biggest thing, you know, our guys they're unselfish. I mean, whatever we ask them to do, they're willing to do it. You know, Lamarcus has played safety his whole career at Florida State, and the first thing we do is move him to corner, move him to nickel. You know, Christian's moved from linebacker to defensive end. You know, there's a lot of guys, and if you look where the guys are playing at today, if you probably looked at our two deep and said, okay, here's whoever it is, our defensive ends, D tackles, corners, safeties, and then you looked where we were at in the spring training, there's probably not about 8 or 9 guys that were playing the same spots they were playing in the spring. And some of that was because us getting to know the guys, knowing what they could do. Some of it's because a lot of them were injured in the spring. We had a lot of guys who had surgeries from the previous year. I think this spring, Lamarcus and PJ were the only corners we had. They took every rep all spring. So, but it was kind of a work in progress. But the big thing to me is these guys. They're not worried about individual awards. Okay, they're focused on team goals. And I've never been around a group who loves to practice, who loves to prepare like these guys. And that's saying a lot because I've been around some really good football teams, okay? But these guys, Lamarcus said it, the power of preparation, all right? You have to run them out of our office, all right? They're up there all the time saying, coach me, coach, give me something, give me a tool that's going to help me in this game. I just want a little bit of a nugget.
We've got our 2 final questions. We'll go straight back on the camera riser.
Hey, Lamarcus. Hey, Telvin. Can you tell me your guys' mindsets when Coach Pruitt first came in during the spring and what it was like learning that new system? You guys touched on that a little bit earlier. And then when did you guys tell yourselves and look at yourselves and say, this defense was going to be good and it was going to work?
Well, coming in, I knew Coach Pruitt was coming from Alabama, and I knew that he was going to install that type of philosophy, that type of defense, bringing it this way. And we always compared ourselves. You know, people always saying, well, Florida State and Alabama, Florida State and Alabama. So I just felt like this gave us as players an opportunity to be more dynamic and to show, you know, more what we can do and, you know, kind of kill the confusion. But still, you know, you can never stop people from talking. So I was just happy for him to be here. I'm even happier now to see what we gotten with him here. And it's easy when you listen and let a coach you do his job, and you do your job as a player. Then the chemistry, it all flows together, and then that's when the bond has come, and then that's when you love each other, and that's when you're able to do what we've done.
Just going through that first week for me, from a personal experience, just seeing that how Coach Pruitt loved, cared, and understood players, football, everything, that alone just opened up the doorway for me to want to learn. Like he said, we up there every day, coach me, coach. And to know that he come from a good pedigree under Coach Saban and been around Coach Fisher before, guys who we all respect, the whole country respect. Just understanding that, just that alone to get you better. That was enough for me. And like I say, I just love the kind of person he is. And he's a natural leader. And I was appreciative of that, and I was willing to go with the flow. And learning football, that's the easy thing because we all love football. And whatever, if it's important enough to you, you'll do it. And loving the game and just loving the attitude that Coach Pruitt came in there with, all the leaders were willing to learn, and it was easy from there.
We'll take our final question on the left.
This is for Jeremy. Having Sal Sensori and Charles Kelly, they're guys who have worked in the Saban system. How much do you think having two other coaches like that have helped you to have this defense have success in year one?
Well, I can tell you this. We've got, to me, the best defensive staff out there with Sal, Charles, and Odell Hagens. You're talking about it's not work. It's really not work. I mean, we're sitting there from the first day we all got together last January. We went out on the road, started recruiting, and I mean, it's really amazing. We're starting to implement, putting things in, and get there whatever time in the morning we look, and Odell's wife's calling saying, "Where's Odell at?" So it's just hours go by, and you really don't even realize that you're what's happened just because you enjoy being around people. To me, the big thing about all those guys is they care about the kids. They love the kids. And that starts with Coach Fisher, the staff that he's put together. To me, I would say just as an organization, there's not a happier place than Florida State, day in and day out. Everybody loves being around everybody. It's fun times, and obviously right now we're winning, but when I went and interviewed at Florida State, I mean, practice wasn't going on. It was in the dead period in between the bowl stuff, and there's 20 kids up there in the coaches' offices, and I'm thinking, what are these guys doing up here? They're just hanging out. I'm looking at them, watching them, smiles on their faces. They're just hanging out. That's where they go to hang out, is the coaches' offices. So it was something, it reminded me a lot of why I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to be a high school coach. I wanted to have a positive effect on young people. And just seeing that, it kind of, I said, hey, this is something I want to be a part of.
Great. Thank you guys so much.